Stuff the Play is really about 4 women who struggle with all kinds of eating disorders, body image issues, weight issues, and that pretty much represents every single woman on the face of the planet. I've met one woman in 55 years who doesn't have an eating or body image problem, and you know, this show is for the billions of women who do, which is all of us. And I hate that one woman who doesn't, so she doesn't have to come see the play. Stuffed has 4 characters, they're all women. My first one was me, compulsive eater, compulsive dieter, who finally said enough and gets weight loss surgery, and clearly is a huge success because I'm beautiful. The other characters were not that difficult to pin down except one. The second one is an anorexic / bulimic, so we all know people who are affected by that. The third one is the character that no one believes actually exists, the big girl who likes herself big and is confident. So every time I tell someone that character exists, they go, oh, she must have been made up out of your imagination. I'm like, no, that's the one based on an actual person I know. Because there is one white woman I've ever met in my life who's happy with how she looks, who's big. And she was a huge inspiration because she provides a feeling of hope that you can like yourself no matter what other people say. And the fourth character, the one no one feels sorry for at the beginning, but by the end they understand her too, which is the skinny girl who can't gain weight. Because anyone who has had weight issues as far as gaining and having a difficult time with that is like, oh, poor her. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you really hear her story, it's really deep and there's a lot to it that's really painful, just like it is for big women. I love when people ask me, like, how does the play start and it end? And to them I say, buy a freaking ticket. Like, how would you love to just come out and like see it, okay? And it's cheap too, it's freaking nonprofit. It ain't like Broadway, you're not going to see Hamilton.
Okay, so listen, you guys, there is this really exciting thing going on, which is Lisa has written a play.
Hello, I'm on frickin' Genius.
It starts previewing this Friday. It opens on October 6th, and it runs through the 7th of November, so you've got plenty of time to go see it.
Yeah, it's so good too. I swear to God, it's the work of my lifetime. It really is.
Well, I want to talk about that because...
Let me interject one thing, you little bitch. I figured this out. I've been struggling with my weight and body image and all that crap that everybody has to go to from age 18 to 50. That's 32 years. I figure I better at least get a goddamn play out of the fucking thing.
Right?
Am I right, ladies? We've got to work on ourselves. Might as well make some art out of it.
But you know, the truth of the matter, and I know everybody in this audience knows this, you know, we all have those issues. It's not just young women or what.
No, it's not just women. I found in the readings of the play, because it is a comedy, plus it has a lot of emotional, you know, issues in it and stuff. A lot of men have been coming up to me, and not just gay men. Like, straight guys have this thing called manorexia now, and it's like nobody's safe from not liking who they are.
Right.
And I think we really got to figure out how to accept ourselves how we are. Hey, I had to get weight loss surgery to save my life and to get some confidence, but if we could at first like ourselves either way, it's just that much the better.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, like I'm sitting here thinking about, is my stomach in right now as we're speaking?
Right. No, it's not.
Right?
It's out. It's horrible.
So I want to talk about that moment because you've done stand-up.
Yep.
Because you've done television. Because you've done movies. Because you've done personal appearances. You've done like all kinds of stuff.
I'm like pretty much just like an inspiration to millions.
Millions.
I get it.
So I want to talk about that moment where you said, I have a story to tell, and I want to tell it in the theater.
Well, you know what's funny? No one goes into the theater to make money. It's this kind of thing where it pays crap unless you're in Hamilton. So I'm like, why did I do this? And you know what it dawned on me? It honestly is because I thought, how can I make my struggle be of service to other people? How can I show people something that after they see it, they'll say, oh my God, I'm not the only one who struggles with this. And I go, my whole struggle of weight and body image, like I said, over 30 years, that should do some good for people. So at the very least, the people who see it will go, oh, I got a few laughs, it took me out of my own head, and Lisa and this cast struggles with the same stuff too. So it really was that moment of going, I want to do service instead of be all about me. Because with stand-up, it can really be all about you.
Sure, of course. So The theater is so different, though, from anything you've worked in, I think.
Oh, yeah, because get this. You have to, like, not be the boss all the time. I'm a stand-up comic. Like, I work alone, you know, it's all about LL.
Right.
But then I have this freaking theater thing. There's a freaking director. There's an artistic director. There's these 3 other bitches in it. I said, Jesus Christ. The only one. And I hired all smart, funny, cool, powerful women. So I didn't just hire a bunch of pushovers. Like my director, Jackson Gay, is like teaches at Yale. So I was like, holy crap, I can't boss her around. The only one I bossed around so far, the costume chick, because I said, bitch, I'm wearing what I want to wear.
Right.
Yeah, no, and thank God she bought it. She goes, oh, yeah, you dress like yourself because your name in the show is Lisa, so you're allowed to play yourself. But it is really weird when I'm not the be-all and the end-all smart one.
Right. So how does that feel to go into that rehearsal process every single day? And not only are you a performer, but you're the writer as well.
Right.
So that's just got to be working you from both sides.
Well, also the emotional aspect of, okay, acting's emotional enough, right? But I'm acting out my bad things that happened to me before. You know, incidents that made me work on my weight, incidents that shamed me, incidents that happened that made me sort of question my self-image and body image. So I'm reliving them every day. These other 3 girls are playing a character.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, this kind of hurts every day that I have to talk about that incident that happened. But then I go, you know what? It's for the greater good. It's for somebody else. So I can do that. And, you know, also, if you hire supportive people, in the WP Theater is Women's Project Theater where it's happening on the Upper West Side, they like women's voices and women's work. So I feel like safe. I don't feel like I'm there and people are going, ugh, what's wrong with her crying?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, there were a lot of people, I've watched this play grow over the last year.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really proud of you.
Yay.
And you've had a lot of interest in this play.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, why you chose the Women's Project. And I think you might have just answered that, but if you want to talk about that a little bit more.
When somebody, an artistic director of a theater comes up to you and she's like, I get it. I've worked on the same stuff. I know every woman needs to see this show as well as men. I'm like, oh, she understands. Like, you don't want to have to explain to somebody why your play or anything is worthy. Like I always said with comedy, never explain, never complain. I never complain about the schedule, never complain about anything, but I never explain my comedy. So it's like, if you don't get me, don't hire me. That's okay. I'm not mad at you. But you don't need to explain yourself to people. So with the play, she just got it, thank God.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's so interesting, you guys, is that, I know you know Lisa as a comedian and a stand-up, and you're going to see something, a side of her that maybe you don't see all the time, which is vulnerable and sometimes painful. And so are you at all frightened about that, scared about that?
No, luckily
Nervous.
we did a few readings. One was at the Westport Country Playhouse in Connecticut, one in Sag Harbor at the Bay Street Theater. So it was already been in front of audiences to just test it out that I can do that in front of people. But luckily, I'm a smart person too. I'm a business person. I know that there needs to be humor in a play written by me, or else they're going to go, oh, she thinks she's freaking Shakespeare over here. So I go, Shakespeare, it sounds like a writer in jail. What the hell am I talking about? So I go, you know what? But a co-writer of mine of a previous show said the smartest thing to me. He goes, write it all serious first and trust yourself that the funny will come in. And the funny just comes out and you write it down. And that's what the rehearsals are for, and rewrites and rewrites. The other day, oh my God, I'm so glad you can curse on AOL. You can, right? Oh my God, listen to this, Brad. I tell a story in the show about when I was about 218 pounds, so, skinny. I was in Vegas, right about average. I said, okay, you know what? I was out to lunch with my 2 skinny friends, and we talk about how I got very furious with them, and this really happened, and we're not friends anymore because they would not have dessert because I wanted dessert. And they were like, we're not hungry. And I'm like, look, you fucking horse, what does being hungry have to do with dessert? Hello? So I'm telling the story, and as it was written, I put, you guys were staring at that giant cannoli so long I couldn't tell if you want to eat it or fuck it. But guess what? During rehearsal, it just popped out of my mouth. I go, I couldn't decide if you wanted to eat it or jam it up your snatch. And we're like, oh, we are so putting that in the show. Because it's like, that's how I talk. And I think it's funny. You just have to be yourself. So thankfully, the serious play stuff happened, then the funny finds a way in. So stand-up fans will like this too. I'm very grateful that you get to meld them, and nobody's ever yelled, hey, this ain't funny, which is great.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what's so kind of extraordinary about what you've written, right? Is that it's very funny, like really funny, in ways that you don't maybe see it in your stand-up.
Right.
But it's also deeply moving and deeply personal, too.
Right. I figure put it all out there. I mean, what good does it get me hiding anything? You know what I mean? Like, when I had my weight loss surgery 4 years ago, I freaking wanted to tell it from the hospital on TMZ because I was proud that I'd taken control of my life and that I actually wanted to save my life and live a long time. But, of course, that doctor, he was like, oh, wait for 2 weeks. He was one of them Indian doctors, He's very conservative. I don't mean TP Indian. I, of course, mean customer support Indian. I see we have a one in the second row because he's laughing as if he speaks English. I love how he sat him next to the only Asian. Get them over there. They don't know nothing. I know that Asian guy, though. How are you? I know your sister, some dumb hoe. She's very nice. So that's what I feel, So anyway, I was very proud that I had this surgery because I said, look, I'm going to be truthful and I'm not going to lie to people. I'm going to always tell the truth.
Right.
And by the way, that's one thing I learned from Howard Stern, who's my hero. You always tell the truth on the air or on the stage because, damn it, people can learn from it and they could say, hey, I did that too, and nobody feels as alone, right?
Right. So if you didn't have this experience, let's just say for fun, I want to know what is the thing that you would miss the most? What are you taking away from this?
Oh, this play?
Yeah.
Well, it ain't the $400 a week.
The play and the process
much.
And all that other stuff.
Christ. Do you know what costs me more to get my fucking makeup done once a day than what I'm getting paid at this goddamn play? They're like, don't get your makeup done. I said, this is bad enough. Can you imagine without? So what was the question? Oh, my God.
I want to know.
No, I would honestly.
We want to know.
Yes.
If you didn't have this experience, what would you have missed?
I think it's really telling my story really truthfully in a serious manner and then adding the funny on top. Because in my stand-up, I tell all about the surgery, my struggle with weight, my divorce. Like, I tell the truth. But this is, like, even more deep. Like, a guy who helped me write was like, you have to dig really deep of why you started turning to food in the first place when you were 18. Because up till 18, I could eat whatever I want and it would just melt off. But, oh, Maron, when I hit 18 and went to college, I was very unhappy. And he's like, you have to dig why so people know why and they can help search within themselves when food became an issue. So to do that deep work, I feel like it was almost therapy. So that was really good for me.
Sure. So now I know you. How are you about critics coming to see your show?
Oh, my God. Okay. I keep having recurring nightmares about critics, but it doesn't come up about a critic. I have dreams that if you interpret them, it's like, oh, that means you're scared of a critic. The other day, I had a dream, Saturday night, that I gained 30 pounds back and I had a penis. But it was a little child's penis. It was tiny. So I think that's me being afraid of a male reviewer with a tiny penis from the New York Times. But I was really worried, to be honest with you, about a reviewer because I said, oh my God, New York Times can make or break you. And then guess what I thought to myself, which I think we should all think this way. What's the worst thing that could happen?
Right.
Times doesn't like it. It doesn't get renewed. I take it on the road. I take out any of the cursing. Take it to high schools for free and do it as a service to high school girls. Screw it. If that's who's supposed to see the show, that's who's supposed to see it. What's the best that can happen? Great review, runs Off-Broadway for 3-4 years like Vagina Monologues, ends up on the road, makes me an ass load of money, like $500 a week or something. Everybody's happy. happy. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is nothing bad can really happen to us if we go,
Right.
that's who was supposed to see it. Like when I wrote my non-best-selling autobiography, I was very sad. This is years ago. I was so sad it didn't sell more. And then I said, wait a minute, because it was very truthful about food and men. And I go, you know what? Whoever was supposed to read it did. Let it go. So I think if we all think about that, that's kind of the way we have to think, lead our lives.
Right. But do you read your critical, do you read reviews of your stand-up, and do you think you'll read your reviews?
I mean, I have to read the Times review because that's a make or break.
Right.
But then again, you know what? I'm not going to do it till the next day. I learned that because what happens is you have opening night, right, October 7th, and the Times review comes out that night. So you're having this big party, and then you read the review, and you're like, well, that was $5,000 down the freaking shitter. So I just go, you know what? I'm going to wait till the next day and see what happens. I learned that from John Bolton, the Broadway
Right.
actor. So the next day we'll see. But I can't change it.
Right.
I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, and I can't change it.
So this is being in the theater and running a show is a marathon, maybe unlike anything
Right.
you've experienced before. Although I know you go all over the country and you're a night here and a night there and a night, and sometimes you have 2 shows.
Right, right.
Sometimes you have 4 shows in the same 2 days.
I'm very popular, yes.
Yes. So I want to know how are you preparing for this run?
Oh my God, you guys would laugh so hard because I'm used to working 2 days a week, if that. I do stand up Friday, Saturday, and I've been doing this 26 years, so basically it's an afterthought. I do it in my sleep. Just like you guys go to your jobs and you know what you're doing, I just know what I'm doing. I have fun for an hour and a half and I fly home. Well, this theater thing, I said, oy vey, they rehearse 8 freaking hours a day. They give you a 20-minute break. What am I supposed to do on 20 minutes? 3 10-minute breaks like they're doing me a freaking favor, this equity agency, this fucking union. So I'm dying going, what do I do? So you know what I did? You guys be so proud of me. For 8 weeks, I made no social plans. I go to rehearsal, get 8 to 10 hours sleep, eat protein, because that's what makes me feel most healthy. And by 9 o'clock at night, me and my little doggy Parker, named after Sarah Jessica Parker, because they're both ugly cute. By 9 o'clock, we're on that goddamn couch asleep. So this is how I prevent getting burnt out, and I'm the sweet and delightful person you see here today. You're welcome.
Right. So, one of the best things that happened this year is that we became friends.
Yes.
And I know where a lot of stuff came from. So, and I think everybody's going to be delighted to see what this is about for you. So I'm curious. I know that there's a lot more there.
Oh, yeah.
So what's coming next after this?
Okay, well, I painted myself into a corner, so I have to do it now.
Right.
Okay. I feel these 4 women, the characters of Stacy, Lisa, Brittany, and what's that other bitch's name? Katie. She's the skinny one who can't gain weight. Okay. No, I get it. It's a struggle. I figured they have a lot of the same issues as me. So the next play, I've decided to write 3 more plays. I figure it'll keep me busy for like 10 years. The next play is about these women and their relationships, love relationships. So this is stuff, that one's screwed. The next one's about these 4 women's relationship with anger, because I think women in anger is a very difficult, odd thing, because you're not supposed to yell, but you also, some tend to hold it in until they explode. So I think that's interesting. That one's going to be called Pissed. And then the one after that is going to be the hardest one probably, because it's about women in grief, because I think a lot of times we don't grieve the things we're supposed to, not just death, but like a loss of a job, a loss of a body, a loss of anything, a relationship, a divorce, a self-image. And I think that women in grief one is going to be really difficult, but why not? By then
Right,
I'll be like a
absolutely.
freaking Pulitzer-winning freaking Hamilton type of playwright, Lin-Manuel, honey.
So last question from me, and
Yes.
then we'll take some questions from you guys.
Okay.
I want to know if in this process of creating this glorious thing that you're going to open this Friday or start running this Friday, if your views about food have changed.
Oh, my God.
Or what's changed.
Right. I love food. I still cannot think of that whole platitude everybody tells you is nothing feels as good as food tastes. That's fucking bullshit. I would rather have food than sex.
Right.
I would cover a child in chocolate and eat that kid. And I am not that crazy about children's taste in the first place. I would pour melted cheese on my dog and lick it off. Like, I am telling you, there's nothing that's as good as food tastes.
Right.
So I still love food. So what I had to do to try to keep the weight off, because I really want to keep it off for my health and so I don't feel I backslid, I go, you know what? Eat when you're hungry, not out of emotion. So I still love food and I eat what I want, but small amounts. And it's a freaking everyday struggle. And guess what? Nobody's ever fixed. You don't get surgery and suddenly, ta-da, I'm perfect.
Right.
People gain that weight back all the time. It's about going to something else for your emotional fix, whether it's calling a friend, whether it's, doing some kind of activity, whatever. But then if you do overeat, you just forgive yourself and say tomorrow's the next day. That's all you can do is be as good as you can.
Sure.
Yeah.
So have you learned something new about this? I mean, is it just affirming what you already know, or is there something that you've discovered?
I kind of figured out that when it's an old AA saying for any of you drunks out there, and I'm sure there are at least a couple, Asian guy. That freaking Saki got him by the balls. No. They say in AA, when you drink over a problem, you have two problems. So because that problem doesn't disappear. So when you eat over a problem, you have two problems. The problem never disappears, and then you're mad at yourself for the food. So just kind of end running it and trying to seize it, and it's still hard. I'll be 80 and still working on this, but I think that's the beauty of life. We're never going to be perfect.
So I just want to make sure everybody knows, though there are 4 women in this show, this is also a play for everybody, not just women.
Yeah, no, I think it's really funny to me. This is bizarre, and I loved this. A blind guy came up to me after the show in Sag Harbor, a straight guy married, and I didn't know he was blind till he was all like, with the eyes. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No offense, Asian with the eye thing. I know you people, too. Fucked up. No, but this blind... See, I can't help myself. How can't the play be funny? I can't. Okay, I'll be serious. A blind guy came up to me and he goes, thank you for this show. And he had like tears in his eyes. And he's like, because I had to go through the same feelings of unworthiness, how I was brought up because I was different than everyone. And I was like, and even my brother, he's a straight guy, works at ESPN, he said every person should see this, not just women, because we all at some point feel like we're not as good as somebody else.
Absolutely.
So I said, all right, so we'll open it up to straight guys if we have to. In fact, I'm giving Ching Ping 2 free tickets. I love him. What's your name, sir? Yell her out. Philip? Gary, he spells it in them little drawings that they made up to fuck with the white people. My name Philip, that's Jayp. House, rock, tree house. No, but seriously, I think we all inside are working on something.
Right. So we want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions that you might like to ask.
Yeah, and Brad, do hook Philip up. He's a good guy. I like him. Philip, do you live in the city? Good. Yes? Speak English? Okay, good. Hook Philip up. He's a good guy. Hello, Tyrone or Leroy or whatever your black name is. Do you know how hard this is going to do when the play's running and I can't F with the audience? Because if they don't laugh at a joke, I'm like, hey! Yes, yeah. Sir, what is your name?
Sean.
Hi, Sean. What's up?
My question is, when writing the play, was it an easy decision to play yourself as opposed to someone else bringing your story to life?
You know what's so great about that question is because for years I was too scared to play myself because I'm not that good an actor. And I was like, uh-oh, will I be able to do this? Also, guess what, Philip? You got to memorize this freaking thing. It's not like you could go up with a book. I said, oh, boy, let Cameron Manheim play me. Let somebody, Carney Wilson, that freaking bitch. But you know what? I said, Philip, the world wants Lisa Lampanelli, as you can see here by these 10 people today. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
That's funny.
Hi.
Hey, man.
Were there...
What's your name, Heaney?
Philip. No, I'm kidding.
No, you liar!
It's Jawad. Jawad.
To what?
Jawad.
Tawad.
Jawad.
Jawad.
Yes.
What is your nationality, just out of curiosity?
From Pakistan.
Oh, boy. Run for your freaking lives, everybody. No, I trust you're one of the good ones. Okay. Go ahead, Jawad.
So,
Yes,
were
sir.
there any parts of the story that you had to compromise or like change or leave out when putting it out into?
You know what's funny? I really didn't. Like, everything in it's true. That's what's so weird. Like, we're doing the play, we're rehearsing, and my director go, well, what part of this story is true? And I'm like, everything. Because you just go, well, what am I going to make up stuff for? My life was eventful enough. It was controversial enough. I had my feelings hurt enough times. Put it all in there. So, yeah, my story is absolutely true. The other three women, I interviewed tons of women and sort of, combined them together to be these three other women. But man, LL is out there, son. Son.
Lisa, we wish you so much good luck with this. So to remind everybody, previews start this Friday.
Yes.
It opens on October 6th.
7th.
And,
Okay.
and then it runs through
That's all right, girl. You got a lot going on.
and then it runs through November 7th.
6th. He's just a little mixed
It
up.
goes around somewhere.
No, but it's great. I think you'll really love it. It's called Stuffed at WP Theater, honey.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.